The story continues as Rintaro visits Lovazono Flower Park and is captivated by its beauty. Nano mentions that it's an ideal spot to explore a variety of plants. Kasari plans to collect nectar for her drug research, while the other girls enjoy the scenery. Rintaro expresses gratitude to Hikari for suggesting the park, and she agrees that it was worth recommending. Hikari wanted to bring him there, and as they talk, an announcement interrupts them. A man informs through the intercom about the upcoming monthly event, Bouquet Toss. Hikari explains it's a major attraction where the lucky person catching the bouquet can wear a wedding dress adorned with the park's flowers. The fortunate girl also gets a special photo session with a loved one. Excited, Rintaro decides to participate, and Hikari reveals that wearing this wedding dress has been her dream since childhood. She is determined to make this dream come true. Together, they head to the location of the big event. When they arrive, Rintaro notices a crowd eager for the bouquet. Suddenly, a middle-aged woman stands out, urging her friends to help her catch the bouquet for a special photo shoot. Confused, Rintaro asks Nano, who explains that they're from a Japanese motorcycle gang called the Gorilla Syndicate. Rintaro appreciates his well-informed girlfriend, Nanopedia. Hikari suggests they join forces to improve their chances against the gorillas. They decide to draw lots for the photo session, and everyone agrees. Rintaro, concerned about the enthusiastic gorillas, suggests Shizuka not participate to avoid any harm. Kurine supports this idea, considering Shizuka's height might make her hard to spot in the crowd. Kasari takes a potion to grow bigger. Rintaro notices the gorilla's distinctive flags and decides to make his own with a towel and pen, labeling it Rintaro Family. Everyone is taken aback by him calling them family. Rintaro pumps up the team with a spirited war cry. The gorilla gang is cheering, but they pause when they see Shizuka and appreciate her cuteness. The presenter then announces the bouquet toss, emphasizing a strict no-violence rule. Baba Ant, a former soccer athlete turned shot putter, is introduced as the tosser. Rintaro is surprised to see his vice principal in this role and learns about Baba's shot putting background. The presenter asks Baba about her motivation, and she reveals a quirky desire to throw the bouquet out of the Earth's atmosphere to prevent happiness. Despite the strange motivation, the presenter proceeds with the event and starts a countdown for the bouquet toss. Baba tosses the bouquet with no concern, focused on earning money for spending on strippers. Participants rush toward the bouquet, and the gorilla gang begins attacking some of them. Rintaro realizes they are not concerned about maintaining civility. The gang captain clarifies that their violence is only directed at each other as part of their training. She tosses one of her henchmen toward Hikari, but Karen steps in to hold the gorilla's back. Karen decides to play by the same rules and acts like a gorilla for a moment. She goes after the captain, impressing her with her strength, but the captain unintentionally insults Karen by comparing her to a gorilla. Unfazed, Karen instructs the others to go for the bouquet while she deals with the captain. The gorillas use their flags to create a wind tornado, diverting the bouquet towards the captain. Rintaro confronts the gorillas, refusing to let them win. In the sky, Shizuka, aided by the Rintaro family flag, is seen flying. Rintaro realizes Shizuka's advantage in seeing the approaching tornado from her elevated position in the cheering group. Shizuka effortlessly catches the bouquet, but as she does, she releases the flag and begins to free fall. The girls team up to catch Shizuka as she falls, but she ends up landing on their melons and bounces into the air. Rintaro hurries to rescue her just in time. The gorilla captain gets angry upon seeing that the bouquet was successfully caught. Karen expresses gratitude for the spirited competition and emotionally shakes hands with the girls. Karen reflects on her relief for not being with the girls when Shizuka jumped onto their beds because her skeletal frame wouldn't have been much help. The victory is celebrated with joy, and Hikari suggests deciding who will take the photo with Rintaro. She introduces a raffle kit with toothpicks. To win, a person has to pick the toothpick with a red mark. As Hikari mixes the toothpicks, she reveals her premeditated plan. Knowing catching the bouquet would be tough, she had already envisioned everyone cooperating. Hikari suggests conducting the draw even before the bouquet is thrown, avoiding suspicion. She points out that the stick with the red mark has a small visible cut on the side. To avoid suspicion during the toothpick draw, Hikari devises a plan. She decides to let someone else go first and chooses Nano, believing her efficiency-focused nature would likely ensure she picks the closest stick. Hikari mentally apologizes for her strategy, but is determined to make her childhood dream come true. However, Nano's efficiency surprises Hikari and all the girls quickly get their toothpicks. To Hikari's surprise, she gets the red toothpick. She gets really happy as her dream finally came true. On their other side, Kusuri throws a tantrum and Rintaro reassures her, saying there will be more opportunities in the future. Hikari feels sorry for Kusuri, who hasn't made strong memories with Rintaro yet. she decides to let Kusuri take the photos instead. Kusuri expresses gratitude, thanks Hikari, and confesses her love for both Hikari and Rintaro. She says that watching her two favorite people take a photo together would be very fun. Hikari suggests taking photos together, despite Karen mentioning they always do that. They decide to have a group photo. Afterward, Hikari expresses gratitude to Rintaro for making her dream come true. She shares that her days have been happy since meeting him, and her life has felt like a dream. Rintaro reciprocates the feelings, thanking Hikari for everything. When Hikari makes a seemingly selfish request, Rintaro is open to granting it. To his surprise, she asks to break up. Rintaro is confused and plans to talk to her later to understand her reason. However, he learns that Hikari has left the park for an urgent appointment. Kusuri suggests she might have just gone to the restroom, and Nano inquires if something happened to Hikari. Rintaro reassures them and promises to talk to Hikari. When he tries to call her, Hikari doesn't answer. Rintaro recalls receiving an envelope from Hikari containing her bikini photos. Curious, he opens it, believing it might contain her address. His hunch is right, and he arrives at a grand house with a garden, lake, and fountain. Spotting Hikari through a window, he excitedly calls out to her, but she hushes him and warns him to stay quiet. A security guard hears a noise and checks, so Rintaro hides just in time. Hikari calls him from an unknown phone, saying they have little time. Rintaro, confused about their sudden separation, asks for an explanation. Hikari reveals she doesn't love him anymore and wants him to move on without her. However, Rintaro senses she's hiding something and refuses to leave until she tells the truth. Hikari opens up, saying her mother found out about them. Despite explaining their honest relationship and her happiness, her mother disapproved. She took Hikari's phone, transferred her to a different school, and planned to move the next day. Hikari doesn't even know where she'll be going. Rintaro gets upset upon hearing Hikari's explanation. Hikari says that how her mother's is. She also says that her mother have a lot of money and use it to bend everything at her will. She believes her mother will keep separating them if they meet again. Hikari's mother overhears their conversation, takes the phone, and warns Rintaro never to approach her daughter again or else she can get rid of teenage boy like him if necessary. Hikari's mother abruptly hangs up despite Rintaro's attempts to talk. Rintaro shouts to get attention, but the security guard catches him and asks him to get out. Rintaro explains he needs to talk to the residents, but the guard reveals he has orders not to let him in. Despite Rintaro insisting it's important, the guard says things don't always go as one wishes, especially for a teenager with limited capability. Meanwhile, Hikari pleads with her mother to let the situation pass. Her mother refuses, insisting on sending Rintaro away so Hikari can't see him again. Hikari promises never to disobey her mother again, hoping to avoid harm to Rintaro. Hikari's mother hugs her daughter, internally criticizing Rintaro as a fifth-rate insect and expressing her disapproval of their relationship. Later in the afternoon, Rintaro comes back home feeling really sad. He remembers Hikari's words and how the security guard said he couldn't do anything because he's just a teenager. Rintaro is frustrated and defeated, so he hits his head against the wall. He feels weak, doesn't have much knowledge, money, or power, and doubts he can love someone like Hikari. While looking down, he finds a 4-leaf clover, reminding him of the day he first met Hikari. Rintaro tells the other girls everything, and Kurain wonders why Hikari didn't speak up earlier. Kasuri asks Rintaro about their plan, and he decides to sneak into the mansion and rescue Hikari. Kurain and Nano doubt the plan's success because of Hikari's mother's wealth. Despite the challenges, Rintaro is determined to make Hikari happy and bets everything on this rescue plan. He remembers Hikari's sad look in the window, fueling his determination. Rintaro plans to escape the city with Hikari that night, even though he knows it's uncertain. He promises to come back one day and asks the girls to wait for them. Kurain finds the plan convenient but decides to help Rintaro rescue Hikari, and the other girls offer their help too. Rintaro knows it's not a simple decision, but as he looks at the girls, he realizes they all love Hikari like him. With this in mind, he accepts their assistance. This brings an end to our episode.